question that I get asked all the time when I'm talking with business owners is what is the best way to plan my financial future? And I'm excited to share with you an amazing guest because he is a wealth management dynamo. So if he is here to talk about all things regarding wealth management. So he's a best-selling author, he's the founder of Peace of Mind Wealth Management, the co-host of Secure Your Retirement, and he's been featured in Forbes, Newsweek, Fox, ABC, NBC, and the Wall Street Journal. He knows his stuff. So some things that we're going to dive into today is, are you on track to live comfortably in your later years? Are you still trying to figure it out? Either way, if you're concerned about your financial future, you're going to want to keep listening. Please welcome the award-winning financial advisor, Radon Stancil. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. So I am always interested to find out how people decided financial services, financial management. How did you decide to go into this career?
Well, I have quite the different kind of story. I was raised in a family run business, a heating and air conditioning business. And my dad was a little bit older. At the time, he was 52 when I was born. So I kind of always had an older father. But I was raised in this family business. I had moved away and I came back and I said, I really want to try something different. And I looked at about 3 different industries. And a little over 20 years ago, I started off in insurance and went down that path of which developed into becoming a financial planner. I went back to school to become a certified financial planner and just never looked back. I've always done this. And I think I deal with retirement planning in particular. And I think that has a lot to do with many of my clients who are typically, say 20 years older than I am. We have the very same aged father because my father was older. So we connect really well in that area.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I don't think anybody grows up, and is like, I want to be an insurance agent when I grow up. But I
Yeah.
kind of had a similar path to you. I went down the medical side of things and then realized, you know what? There's a lot of people that are not planning ahead, and financial services can really help people. You do such amazing work for your clients. Who do you think was the biggest influence on your career?
I mean, I have to go back to my dad. I mean, he's a major reason why, I learned how to actually work and be self-employed. I've always been self-employed. So he gave me that. And then I think just some of the things that he would talk to me about when it came, he went and lived a little bit during the Great Depression. So I heard about those financial woes. So I would say that, he impacted me a lot in a lot of the things I do, but especially in this idea of wanting to help people be ready for and live through retirement.
What do you think is the thing that you see the most in your practice? What do people struggle with when they're managing their wealth?
I mean, the number one fear everyone has, and I always tell people, it's whether they've got a few 100,000 they've saved or they've got a few million they've saved. The biggest struggle is, am I going to run out of money? Am I going to have enough? And that's a big fear. And what we find is, and you think about it, it makes sense. For decades, people that are good savers do a good job of saving. So they work, they save, and they don't touch those accounts. And then one day they decide to retire, and that hard work that they put into building those accounts, they now have to start pulling money out. And it is an emotional situation. It is a very big emotion, and now start pulling that money out. And so they are worried. Is it going to last? Am I going to have enough? Am I pulling too much? Am I going to be able to make it? So that is probably the biggest struggle people have.
Well, and people probably have formed this habit over so many years of tucking it away, and now they have to take it. So it's
That's
kind of
right.
a complete shift in their mindset.
Absolutely. It's a big, big shift. And it is quite emotional. I mean, we have to walk people through it step by step and basically prove to them that they're going to be okay. And we do that. That's a big part of how we help people in our planning process, is helping them think through, see the numbers, work those numbers out, and make sure that they get and feel comfortable.
Now, when people are getting ready to retire, they're getting ready to make that switch. How do you think that the quality of the investment strategy dictates the quality of their retirement?
Well, I think it's huge. Now, we have a little bit of a different process or thought process, you might want to say, on how we manage money. A lot of people, especially younger people, when they started out, they were doing a 401k, and they were taught this idea to get a diversified portfolio, and then you hold that and you don't sell it. So markets go up, markets go down, you just hold it and hang in there. Well, a lot of our clients lived through 2000, 2001, 2002, when the stock market dropped to 50%. They lived through 2008 going into 2009, the stock market dropped 58%. And they saw their money going up and down, up and down. And that is, again, an emotional roller coaster. And we teach, though, that there is a time to buy and be invested, and then there's a time to sell and get out. So we manage money with a very, very clear objective. And only people that have this belief system will work with us. And that is this: I want to make a decent rate of return, and I don't want to lose so much money. So we don't attract people that are trying to say, hey, I heard about Bitcoin, or I heard about this new startup and I want to make 50 and 60 and 70% rates of return. They're pretty much going, hey, if I can make 6, 7, 8, 9% a year on average, I'm completely happy. Everything works great, and I just don't want to worry. And so, yes, I think the type of investments can reduce their worry. We call ourselves, the name of our firm is Peace of Mind Wealth Management. Our goal is for people to have peace of mind. And that means we have to have risk management in place.
I'm so glad that you brought up Bitcoin because cryptocurrency is huge right now. What's your opinion on it as an investment strategy?
Well, I mean, obviously, I think people have made money at it. I just believe that for us and for me as a person, I'm not invested in it. I don't see myself doing that. We're not doing it for our clients. And the reason why is where it's speculative. Is it going to work? And yes, I mean, those are the kind of things that can give you those huge rates of returns. But at the same time, you have to be kind of willing to, whatever you've invested in that area, you have to kind of be willing to say, I'm willing to lose it. I'm willing to watch it
Absolutely.
go all down.
Right. And I think that brings us to a really good point is when is the right time to bring you into that process? When's the right time when somebody should say, you know what, I think I need to talk to a financial planner, or are there things that somebody can do on their own? What's that point where you're like, we need help?
I mean, I personally believe, I mean, it's just my belief system. I think you should have a financial planner right from the beginning. Now, we don't work with folks typically that are, 20 and 30. People get involved with us when they're about 55 years of age. That's kind of our client. They're going, hey, I'm 55. I think I want to retire when I'm 65. I'm trying to get myself to that. And we start doing all of the planning to get them ready for retirement and then live through retirement. But I believe that a young person should have a financial planner because the young person needs to kind of understand what saving looks like. How much should I save? What are my goals? And I think that would help motivate them and keep them in that plan of actually saving. Because I think a lot of people young people just think, well, why would I need to save? I'll save later when I make more money. And the reality is, I think you should start saving right away. Even if it's a little bit, start saving right away.
I agree. I think forming those good habits early on can make a huge difference in your retirement when you are older. So, when people are thinking about hiring a financial planner, financial advisor, what are some criteria that people should look for?
Well, I mean, again, I have to preface all these with this. These are my opinions, but I mean, I do like the idea and think it's a good idea to work with somebody who is a fiduciary. So I think that is always going to be good. I think it's good to work with somebody who's a certified financial planner, and the reason why is because you know that they have a wide array of understanding of financial planning, and they're going to they might not specialize in all areas like me. I'm a certified financial planner, and I told you I don't really work with people that are in their 20s and 30s, that beginning phase. I'm just not going to be as effective in that phase because I specialize in something else. So I think, to me, though, out of those two, I would say fiduciary by far. Fiduciary meaning that person is required to put the client's interest first before their interest. And I think that just helps the client know whatever advice I'm getting, at least they believe it's the best advice for me.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think finding a fiduciary is key because there's so many people out there nowadays that say things or, put taglines that, oh, I know exactly what I'm doing. And a lot of times They don't. And so it's really important for people to find someone like you. And people can work with you even if they're not in the same state. Like, talk a little bit about how you run your firm.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have a lot of people that don't live here, and we're in Raleigh, North Carolina. The vast majority of our clients are here in Raleigh, but we have many clients. My furthest client right now lives in Korea. He retired from IBM and moved to Korea for another opportunity. But that one's a little difficult because there's a 12, or that right now, a 13-hour swing on when we talk to him. But with what people have gotten used to on Zoom in particular, it's, we've all gotten trained that, hey, by the way, I don't need to go to an office in order to meet with you face to face and get a chance to talk to you. So everything we do here in the office, we can do on the internet.
Absolutely. What are your recommendations for small businesses? So, our folks that are listening to this podcast are all small businesses. So, do you have a roadmap that people could follow for investing, or do you have like some tips that you could share, steps that people could easily follow to get started?
Well, I think one idea that I would say, and it depends. Okay, so we've got a couple different ones. If you are a solo, self-employed person, I mean, you don't have any employees, then just knowing that you can easily set up a solo 401k. Charles Schwab will allow you to set up a solo 401k, and that allows you to start putting away money you can match yourself. So a self-employed person can put away over $50,000 a year into a 401k, all tax deferred. And so it helps you out on your current taxes as well as getting some money into savings. Also, I love the idea of a person, if they qualify, that they do a Roth IRA. I think that is huge because you're in a Roth IRA, everything you put in is going to now be able to grow potentially for decades, all tax-free. And then you can take it out tax-free. So the thing I love about the Roth too is that, and I don't overly encourage this, but I think self-employed people are always worried about liquidity. So whatever you put into a Roth, you can take back out. There's no penalty. You just can't touch the growth until 59 and a half. So if I put $1,000 in and it grows to $2,000, that second $1,000 I cannot touch without a penalty until 59 and a half. But the 1,000 I put in, if I needed 500 of that, I can take it right back out and I don't have any penalties. So it gives us a little bit of both of a savings plan as well as I can get some liquidity in there.
That's awesome. Now, like cryptocurrency, there's a lot of stuff online about debt management, especially when it comes to small business. So I'd love to get your thoughts, the best way to deal with that, any tips or tricks that you have in regards to managing debt.
Well, ultimately, if you have to take on debt, I think in a business owner, though, as much as you can build without taking on debt is the best way to go, even if that means that your growth is a little bit slower than what you want. Because sometimes I think as small business owners, the idea of going out and saying, I'm going to get a loan and I'm going to grow and I'm going to be able to pay that money back, it just adds a tremendous amount of stress to it. But I believe that you should have, to me, a plan. And not just saying, I want to pay this off in 30 years. I think have a plan to try to say, look, if I'm going to bring this debt on, I want it to be short-term debt. And to me, that's, no more than 10 years, but really should be on that 5-year scale, if at all possible. And I know that's not possible every single time, but if you believe that and you hold that, and you're going to have a business that grows and is extremely stable.
Well, and if you do take on that debt, going into it knowing that, hey, no matter what the bank says, even though they do give me 30 years to pay it back, I'm not going to take it on, or I'm only going to take it on for a short period of time and pay it back right away. I think shifting that mindset could be huge for a small business. Just
I
even
think it's
thinking
huge
about
because, I mean, and obviously, it's difficult sometimes to get a business started without a loan. But if you have to take that loan on, make sure you have a business plan that says I can pay it back, and really look at those numbers hard. Don't think I'm going to I want to take more income from me, so therefore I'm going to not pay the loan off.
Absolutely. Now, if a business doesn't have any debt, what do you think the best area for small businesses to invest their profits is?
So I think I go back to, there's two things. Obviously, for business owners, if they can reinvest in the business, obviously that's going to probably give them the best rate of return, growing their business. But if they say, no, I'm actually growing at the rate I want to grow, I actually have a surplus of income, then I think obviously if they can take out a 401k, or they can do something where they can actually put money to the side, you can actually set up a 401k so that your contributions are going into a Roth 401k, which means now you've got tax-free growth on that money. I believe that all business owners should still be saving money, even if you say you're reinvesting. Sometimes people say, I'm going to reinvest all my profits back in the business. That's okay, but that doesn't feel as good as knowing that, hey, I've put some money over on the side and this is my retirement account and this is what I've got that I can look at, that I see the benefits of all this work that I'm doing in my small business.
What are your thoughts if someone is not a solo entrepreneur? Maybe they have a couple employees, maybe they're virtual, maybe they're in the same state as the business. What are your thoughts in regards to somebody that maybe has a bigger size business?
Yeah, again, I think that many of these steps, it costs a little bit more money. You have a bigger fee if you take out a 401k for your company and you have it for your employees. But again, I think that that helps you as a business. And I think the misconception is sometimes is that if I'm a small business, I'm too little to actually have a retirement plan for myself and for my employees. It's not that expensive. You can actually have the employees share in on the expense if they want to be a part of the 401k. And then encouraging them to put money into the 401k, encouraging them to do so is obviously going to have a good spirit across. Everybody's now like happy that they're building this together, this company together with you.
What's your recommendation of how often people should be reviewing their financial portfolio?
So, and I think everybody should have at least a way of being able to know how they're doing, how their investments are doing. And I think looking at it quarterly is pretty good. For us and our clients, we actually we make a report for our clients, a video report every single Thursday. So every week we're reaching out to our clients and they know exactly how their investments are doing. They know exactly what's happening in the markets. And it's like a 5 to 10 minute video that people can get. And it just gives them an idea of what's going on. And that's much better, in our opinion, than turning on all the talking heads on the news, because that is all pretty much glamour to try to get you to listen. And it may not be the best thing for you to listen to because it'll make you really stressed.
Well, and that really does make your clients, that really truly is peace of mind, because that's something that you're doing consistently for them. Even if nothing is changing, you're still reaching out every single week and saying, hey, we're still here. We're still watching everything. You're good. We'll talk to you next week. I think that would be massive for people, especially as they're transitioning into retirement, when that's such a scary transition, for you guys to step up every single week and say, hey, we're here for you.
Yep. No, we have had tremendous feedback from our clients on that. They love the fact that we do that. That, sometimes if everything's going hunky dory in the markets, they don't listen to it every single week, everybody. But if anything's going on at all in the markets, then everybody listens to it.
Absolutely. And because you have such a close relationship with all your clients, what is the most rewarding part of the work that you do for them?
I would say probably the most rewarding thing is when somebody comes back in. We just had a lady who came in the other day, and when she came in, has been now retired for about 3 years, and she says, "I still can't believe that I'm retired and everything is working." And she goes, I talk about how thankful I am, because we have been working with her now for about 13 years. And she goes, I just can't tell you how much I appreciate the fact that we actually put together a plan. It worked, and I'm retired, and I am living exactly the way I want to live. And we hear those kind of stories all the time. So I love hearing the stories of people who actually retired, where they're going, where they're traveling, what they're doing in retirement, what they're doing to volunteer, whatever it might be. And they share those stories. So I love hearing those stories.
That's great. And you have a new book that just came out, right?
I do. It's called Secure Your Retirement. We actually named it the same as we did our podcast. And it's really kind of set up, and it's got some stories in it, but it's really set up as a guide to help you think through a lot of the questions you ask, when it comes to, how should I be looking at my investments? How do I prepare for an income plan? What do I need to know about IRAs? What do I need to understand about the economy, just to look at the economy? How do I pick a financial advisor? So those are all topics and different chapters in there. So we've actually gotten quite a few clients that we gave the book to have them read it. And we just had a client just in right before I came in here, and he said, hey, I think the book is great. It's an easy read. It's not that long. You can read it in a few hours, but it does give you a nice overview of what you need to think about.
And I think that's the most important thing too, because that book really boils it down so regular people can understand. It's not full of jargon and a bunch of stuff that nobody's gonna be, a regular person can't understand. It really breaks it down for people. And I think in such a loud world where there's so many people talking about, financial things that may or may not be qualified to do that, your book really is just an easy read. Like you said, it makes so much sense.
Yeah, I think so. And we've so far have had good feedback, so we hope it's helpful.
Absolutely. Now, where can people find your book? Where can they find more information about working with you?
So the book is on all of the, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, all of the online stores. You can actually go to our website, which is a great resource on our website, which is pomwealth.net. There's a page there. All of our podcasts are posted on a podcast page. And then we also have a blog page. And on the blog page, every Wednesday, there's a new article that comes out that we write, and it's on all these topics. We pick 3 different types of topics: financial, legacy, and lifestyle. And that's the podcast as well as the blog articles. And I think it's just a great resource. You can go down and look down the list and say, oh, these are different topics I need to know about. I mean, how to convert to a Roth IRA? When should I take Social Security? Those are just kind of common questions that we've gotten a tremendous amount of effort and information out there that has people can get.
Absolutely. And I'll be sure to link all of your links inside the show notes so people can download them quick and easy. Thank you so much for spending time. I know that you're very busy, and I appreciate you coming onto the podcast to share everything with everyone about financial planning and peace of mind.